To say, how are you? Formally, you can say,
¿Cómo está usted?
to say, how, you would say,
¿Cómo?
nice. Now practice saying, how.
¿Cómo?
Here's how to say, to be.
Estar.
Let's hear that again.
Estar. Estar.
Is only one of two verbs meaning to be in Spanish. It is often used for temporary states of to be. Try to say, to be.
Estar.
Nice. Now practice saying, how.
¿Cómo?
Try to say, to be.
Estar.
When the situation is formal, use
Está.
to say, you are. In Spanish,
Está.
is the form of the verb
Estar.
used when saying he, she, it is, or you are in a formal way. Do you remember how to say you are in a formal setting?
Está.
Nice. Now practice saying how.
¿Cómo?
Try to say to be.
Estar.
Do you remember how to say you are in a formal setting?
Está. Usted.
Is the formal way to say you. What's the formal way to say you?
Usted.
Nice. Now practice saying how.
¿Cómo?
Try to say to be.
Estar.
Do you remember how to say you are in a formal setting?
Está.
What's the formal way to say you?
Usted.
Let's see if you know the formal way to say how are you?
¿Cómo está usted?
Based on what you've already learned, what do you think is the correct way to say hello, how are you? In a formal setting.
Hola. ¿Cómo está usted?
Now, let's learn how to say today.
Hoy.
Listen closely one more time.
Hoy.
Okay, now try to say today.
Hoy.
Now, can you figure out how to say hello, how are you today? In a formal situation.
Hola. ¿Cómo está usted hoy?
Listen to the informal way to say you are.
Estás.
Notice that the formal way to say you are
Está.
becomes
Estás.
when there's an informal way to say you are. What is it?
Estás.
The informal translation of you is
Tú.
in Spanish, the use of pronouns is not necessary when the person whom you are speaking about is easily understood from context. This is because in Spanish, the verb endings change to indicate the person being referred to. It's not always necessary to use the informal you,
Tú.
because it is reflected in the verb ending. But the formal form of you
Usted.
is often used. This is because it is not totally obvious from the form of the verb whom the speaker is referring to.
Está.
Is used for
Usted.
you, formal,
Él.
he, and
Ella.
she. This is something that happens with all the verbs in Spanish. Keep in mind that these three persons will always have the same form of the verb, just like in English when we say he is, she is, and it is. What's the casual way to say you?
Tú.
If you're in an informal situation, how would you say, how are you?
¿Cómo estás?
What do you think would be the way to say, hello, how are you? To someone in an informal situation?
Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
Now let's learn she.
Ella.
Nice. Now practice saying she.
Ella.
So far, so good. Can you figure out how to say, how is she?
¿Cómo está ella?
Remember, you could have also said,
¿Cómo está?
without saying,
Ella.
as long as the person whom you are speaking about is clear from the context of the conversation. Here is how you would say, he.
Él.
Try to say, he.
Él.
Based on what you've learned so far, you can figure out how to say, how is he?
¿Cómo está él?
Do you remember how to say, hello, how are you? In a formal setting.
Hola. ¿Cómo está usted?
Okay, now try to say, today.
Hoy.
What's the formal way to say, hello, how are you today?
Hola. ¿Cómo está usted hoy?
There's an informal way to say, you are. What is it?
Estás.
What's the casual way to say, you?
Tú.
If you want to be informal, how would you say, hello, how are you?
Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
Nice. Now practice saying, she.
Ella.
Now try and say, how is she?
¿Cómo está ella?
Try to say, he.
Él.
How do you say, how is he?
¿Cómo está él?